Woo! We just had a win. We had a win. My parents have been talking about some of these poor little sheep that are wandering around here. One of these things, you know, bumper season, excessive number of lambs, really excessive, and yeah, then followed by normal season, and then there's not enough food for them because there's too many sheep or too many lambs in this case for the amount of feed out there. And he's saying, oh, you know, these ones, you know, instead of putting blooming, you know, doing the ear tags and the ring on the tail and all that business, I should have just blooming cut their throats instead, you know. And I'm like, well, some might survive. And he's, yeah, oh, yeah, but there's, you know, not enough, blah, blah, blah. And he's right, there isn't enough feed. The poor buggers have been wandering around eating leaves off the ground and stuff. But we had some rain. About an inch a few days ago. And I'm not joking. Grass started coming up 4 days ago. Now it is... Now, in some areas, it is almost an inch long. You couldn't make this shit up. This started 4 days ago. Oh, the green. So, there's a slight green haze getting through everything. I couldn't believe it. And this is right near the gate here. You couldn't make it up. I remember looking out at one of the poor little sods eating all the dead leaves under this tree here, and I sort of said, you know, hold out a bit longer, buddy, the grass is coming. And I was right. You know, a week and a half later, there's grass an inch long. You couldn't make it up. Usually, you know, it takes weeks to get going, and it will be a few more weeks before it really fires. Hopefully, we have more rain and all this keeps going, and usually it does, you know. There's a point where everything sprouts, and that's usually the turning of the season, and you get rain, and you get rain, and then it, you know, won't rain for a few more days, and then you get more rain again, and it's bang, next thing you know, you're in the depths of winter. Anyway, somebody else had a bit of an unfortunate gear change coming up the hill. A guy who my father's known for, years now, probably nearly 20 years. He's been interested in farming all his life, and he's a local boy, and I think technically he's actually a year or two younger than me, I can't remember, but yeah, he's been involved in a number of the vineyards, and in actual fact, when Chinese Boss ended up getting the vineyard down there that had basically, well, it was bankrupted, and he bought it, with it come an old truck, and lo and behold, not surprisingly, this guy knows Chinese Boss, and he bought the truck off him for blooming peanuts, and got it on the road again for peanuts. So thought it would have to have a completely redone exhaust system because of the, you know, it would just spit the exhaust out the side, whereas really it should have been one of the ones that goes vertical. And there's a bit of rust in the cabin and blah, blah, blah. And he got it on the road for less than $5,000. Fantastic old engine. You know, the thing's like a 1978, but the thing doesn't blow any smoke at all. And anyway, so he's going up this damn hill here with a load of hay bales. Changed back too early. The rope must have given way or something, and he lost 4 of them off the back. And so he rings me old man up, and I'm out there playing around, trying to rake up all these sticks before this grass grows over the top of it all, and it sort of all gets lost. So I'm thinking I'm going to rake up all these prickly rubbish and cypress pine sticks and crap, and I see this truck sitting there. So, yeah, he's been sitting there for a little while. And I sort of almost recognised the truck, because I'd seen this truck in a shed when I was working for Chinese Boss. And I thought, I think that is that same truck. Then I see this guy's ute turn up, and he drops off his, I think it's his wife, who I sort of went, well, to school with, basically. She's a couple of years younger than me, but, you know, on the same school bus, and technically it was the same school, just a different campus. And, yeah, lo and behold, sure as eggs, yeah, it was him all right. And I go inside, and my phone's got these missed calls and that. So I ring my parents back, and the old man answers straight away, and he told me the story. And yeah, he's dropped a couple of bales off, because I went out just to walk out. The cat was meowing a bit and stuff, hanging around, running around. And I seen this truck still sitting there, and I thought, maybe she's getting a bit jumpety because someone's come to the front door, so I better go and see if there's someone at the front door. So I've walked around the side, because I'm out past the water tanks, come around, no one there. So then I've walked out to my car. That's when I seen one of these bales just boom on the side of the road, burst apart, the hay's blowing down the frickin' road. And we were going to get 2 out of these 4. And he changed his mind, ended up being 3 out of the 4, so he got 1 on the back of the truck again. There's still like another dozen or so on the truck. He had a bloody ram full. And, yeah, so he got 1 back on the back, and must have re-roped it and everything. And the other 3 dumped over the fence, and they just come by about, I don't know, 5-10 minutes ago, and then dragged them out in the middle of the paddock and spread them out a bit, and we got the plastic wrapping off and all that. And my father was with him as well. And, yeah, oat and hay. So that's still actually, when you got straw is just the grass with no seed. But this is oats, so it's sort of a larger thing, but it's hay. And hay is different from straw in the fact that hay still has all the seeds. So the long and short of it is, this is full of oat seeds. And I think, just looking at it, he might have used what they call the compactor on it, which squeezes it. It's basically a roller system where it cuts it and runs it through rollers and spits it out the back again. And, you know, a normal cutter will cut it and just drop it straight down, whereas the compactor will cut it and then roll it, but it sort of shoots it up high. So you see them go along, and they're sort of like it's shooting out about 4 foot in the air and then drops on the ground. And he's got one of those, because I've seen him using it, and I think he's done that with it. So effectively they're rolled oats inside straw, or on the ends of straw. So yeah, and I picked up a bit, and sure as eggs, I can feel the oat is still in the thing. So that's good, because straw won't give you that much nutrition at all, because it's just dried out friggin' grass, essentially. Hay, on the other hand, is full of the seeds. You can't really do it with wheat, because wheat will come out so easily, but oats you can, and yeah, there's a lot of oats in that. So these poor little starving sheep are going to be eating, you know, basically rolled oats and straw. So that is really going to help them out, but they haven't quite realised it's there yet. But no matter, by the end of the day, start of tomorrow morning, they'll be all over it like fucking flies on shit, basically. So anyway, that's a big win for us. That gives them a little bit of food and keeps them going while the grass comes up. But the reality is that, in really speaking, might be a month, maybe a little bit more than a month, we're going to send a bunch off. And of course, I'm likely to get a nice little check in that. My father goes, oh, I don't know, the prices are probably no good, blah, 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 blah. And I said, look, the rains have come, the season has turned, I've got grass all over the place. Sure as eggs, other people are going to have the same thing. And there's this thing that when the season turns, it's like the confidence, the market confidence, blah, 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 during summer, and then the season turns and the market confidence just goes through the roof, and all of a sudden everybody goes, oh, we're saved, the rains are here. So most people stop selling sheep, and those who sold off a bunch at the start of summer all of a sudden want to buy sheep back again. So you've got people who want to buy sheep back again, very few sheep being sold, the supermarket's still needing meat on the shelf, or in the freezer shelf, and guess what happens? With nobody selling, and the green grasses come back, and everybody's holding on to their sheep, with the demand goes, not only for meat, which they've got to take the hit because all of a sudden there's very few sheep being sold, but they still need to get the shelves stocked. And on top of that, those who've got sheep are hanging on to them. Those who don't have as many sheep as they could have are trying to get more, and usually the price just fucking turns a corner and goes straight up. So if we leave it about 6 weeks, everybody else's grass has got to be 3 or 4 inches tall. And as a result, market confidence is starting to rip right up again, and we should get a good price. He says, oh, well we got lucky last time. No. It's season timing. I've looked at these markets. It's always to do with seasons, directly reflect prices. He's not into studying things like that, but I do. And as I keep saying, people, oh, what's the price of sheep? Well, I've seen essentially the same sheep, a different year, a different part of the season, but essentially the same age and the same gender of sheep go from anything from 10 cents to $180. That's right, 10 cents to $180. Same age, same gender, one was slightly fatter than the other, one was sold at a different time of the season, at a different year. 10 cents to $180. Now, if I'm not incorrect, that's $179.90 difference for the same fucking thing. Essentially. Okay, one was a bit fatter than the other, but yeah, you get the general idea. There's no money in farming, and you're stupid if you think there is, unless you're farming that stuff that you're not supposed to be farming. Which too many near bankrupt farmers around this area have been caught farming. And I'll tell you what, sometimes there I think, well, you know, I know I'm not farming, but you can't guarantee other people ain't farming that stuff. And if you want to know, that's lemon verbena. That's that green flash you keep seeing in the background, which is good stuff actually. Basically, you can make a cup of tea that tastes like lemon, and I mean exactly like lemon. And as the season changes, this thing will sort of, yeah, it doesn't like the cold, so and at that point I go snippety snip snip, and we harvest that one. And I have so much of it already jarred up, it's getting a little bit ridiculous, and I still haven't finished doing all the mint, although I have at least one coffee jar full of mint. But anyway, that's the way markets roll. You never really make any money out of farming. What you do make money out of is playing the season at different times of seasons, especially if you store up in a bumper year and sell off in a good year. And as I've said previously, there's silage that's, oh shit, it was like the next town past the property that I originally bought. There's a guy there who was digging up silage, and they were going through diaries of great-grandparents and grandparents, all this stuff, and they worked out, they'd see a hump in the ground, and it's indication that there's silage stored under there. Some of the stuff they dug up was 112 years old, and it was fine. And they'd actually get it lab tested. A little thing, you know, put some in a little plastic thing and send it away, and they tell you the exact percentage of protein in it and all stuff like this. And this was good. And he got his way through the 2009 drought, running off bumper year crops that were up to 112 years old that have been stored in the ground. Silage. It stinks like shit, to be honest. It smells very acidic. It might even make you gag the first time you smell it. But sheep and cows love it, especially if they've had it previously. Got a fly annoying me here. And now they've got to the point that can actually make individual bags of it. And you can buy the system and all that, and it will bag it up individually, and you can tear it open one bag at a time. Whereas the old style pits, which I've seen done in my childhood as well, colossal size pits, fucking enormous. You got to compress it and roll it. They would actually use a 4x4 articulated tractor that was a huge big thing that come out of the wheat belt, and they would use that to roll it. And it done a fairly good job, but they'd dig this frickin' whopping big hole, line it all with black plastic, throw this stuff in, roll it with the giant tractor, and then throw more black plastic on, and then throw tyres over the top of that. And sure as eggs, they'd come back, you know, and so long as you sealed the edges off, I think they dumped a bit of dirt over the top of the edges, and then the top main part, they just throw black tyres on the plastic. You can come back and use it, but nowadays you can actually have individual bales that turn into that silage that'll last for years. Or you can just have sacks of grain and keep them in a dry place, and even hay, like the stuff that's just been tipped over my fence, that'll last 8 years without a problem in the world. Some people even hold it to 12 years, but 8 years is, you know, a good limit for it. And you just play one season off the other, and that's where the real money in farming is. Not actually producing, but just playing a good year and storing it up when you buy it cheap off a bad year, like a drought, and that's when you sell it off, and you can make a fucking killing if you know what you're doing. And at times I have thought of, you know, investing, but it's one of these things, you've got to wait 5 years to get your money back and whatnot. And I still may do it, you know, I still may do it. I know who's who in the zoo. I buy direct from producer. None of this fucking, well, what's the wholesale price? I've got to go to them, or go straight to because I know these people personally, you know, and this is the thing. And the people who pay the most are the people who got the horses. And during the drought, the horse people we're willing to pay anything. And people kept saying to them, yeah, but it's all gone. We ran out. Oh, but we're willing to pay any amount. Oh, but you don't get it. And they just didn't get it because they're not farmers. They're horsey people. But there comes a point where this shit runs out. And it's gone. It doesn't matter how much you're going to pay. You can't get it. It got to the point in the drought here, they were trucking it in from interstate. And, of course, the costs, people were going backwards very fast when you got to pay for that. So anyway, that's just the winning situation. I don't know if you call it win-win, but I would call it bugger-up win situation that's happened today.